Good morning, yogis. My name is Daniel. This is Daniel Lee Yoga, and thank you for joining me for practice this morning. We decided to change up our location a little bit. Coney had the idea to come outside and practice on the grass and on our concrete steps here, so here we are this morning. We'll see how it does. I'm at a little bit of a slope, but I think we can still get through class today. And as far as class today, we will definitely be focusing on strengthening our upper bodies, balancing, toning our core, and really lifting our hips in ways that allow us to get into some fun poses. So we really will be relying on our wrists a lot for those arm balances that we're moving into. So we'll be spending a lot of time just working on our wrists, and just know that if you do have any wrist injuries or wrist issues, there are some modifications that I'll provide along the way. Just make sure you are gentle with yourself. Now, as far as props, no props are really planned, but if you typically practice with blocks or straps, you can have them nearby. Class will be 60 minutes. Vinyasa focus, so we'll definitely flow, but at times we'll slow things down to deepen into our postures that we're working towards today. So again, I want to thank you all so much for joining me on this Wednesday morning, or if you're watching at some other time. Hope you've had a wonderful day so far, and I believe we are ready to get started into practice. So typically I would get started on our backs, but I've got Coney here. So let's get started in a cross-legged seat. Make sure you are nice and comfortable in your seat. So with your legs crossed, place your ankles underneath your knees. And if you ever feel like you're falling back and need to sit up straight, you can always roll up your mat, place some blocks underneath you. That'll allow yourself to elongate your spine a little bit more here. Place your arms wherever they feel most comfortable and most natural. We'll take a couple minutes to transition into our practice today. So root down through your sit bones, rise up through the crown of your head, nice long spine. Keep all that length in your spine and just soften your shoulders down away from your ears. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. One more inhale and exhale. Oh, good morning, Ellen. Always fun to see your name pop up. Thank you for joining. Great to see you. So let's take a couple moments in our practice to focus on our breath. Taking a moment to notice. Start by feeling the breath as it comes in and out of your body, perhaps through the nose and or through the mouth. Can you feel it tingle your nose? Perhaps feel the breath on your lips. And now bring some awareness to the length of your inhales. And by comparison, the length of your exhales. Just noticing, releasing any judgment. Just allowing yourself to shift the focus within. Knowing that these next 60 minutes are for you, for your practice, as a time to learn, to observe, to listen, and to grow. Let's take 2 more long, slow, deep breaths here. One last breath. All right, if your eyes were softened, you can gently start to blink your eyes open. And keeping a nice long spine, extend your arms straight down beside you, either fingertips or palms come to the mat. So keeping your arms nice and long, on your inhale, it's bring and raise the arms up overhead, palms face each other. Exhale, release the arms out and down to the sides. 3 more times, just like that. Inhale, arms overhead. Try to keep them as long as possible. Exhale, arms out and down to the sides. 2 more times. Inhale, when the arms come overhead, palms face each other, shoulders soften down. Exhale, palms out and down. 1 more time, palms and arms up overhead. And exhale, palms out and down to the side. Let's keep moving, adding a twist. So on our inhale, arms come overhead, just like before. On your exhale, twist to your right. Release both arms to the outside of your right thigh. Inhale, come right back to center, palms overhead. Exhale, turn to your left. Release the arms to the left side. Do that 3 more times each way. Inhale, arms to center. Exhale to the right. Inhale, arms to center. Exhale to the left. 2 more times. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, overhead. Exhale, twist to the left. 1 more time. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, twist, release to the right. Inhale, arms overhead. And exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, back to center, arms overhead. Exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale, adding a side lean. So let's inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Keep your left arm up. Release your right fingertips or palm to the mat. Take a nice deep inhale as you extend those left fingertips to the mat. Exhale, side bend to the right side. So you can begin to walk those fingertips or palm out to the right side a little more, just to deepen your side stretch. But avoid twisting, keep your shoulders squared forward, and keep that left sit bone rooted on the mat. Take a nice deep inhale. And now use your abdominal muscles to lift yourself back up to center. Exhale, release the left fingertips down this time, opposite side. So inhale as you create length, right fingertips to the sky. Exhale, side bend over the left side. Same options as before. If you'd like, you can start to extend these left fingertips out. Really try and stretch that right side body, but avoid crunching into the left side. Keep the bicep next to your ear. Keep that right sit bone rooted. 1 more breath here. Use your abdominal muscles to lift yourself back up to center. Exhale, hands down through center and down to your sides. All right, let's switch the crossing of our shins. Bring the opposite shin in front. Ankles back underneath your knees. All right, let's extend the arms out to a T shape, palms face down. Just beginning to warm up the shoulder sockets here. So neutral position here, arms out, palms down. Internal rotation. So rotate the entire arm so the thumbs come down, palms start to face back. It's our internal rotation. Gently release back to neutral. External rotation. Opposite way. Palms face up, thumbs come back. Gently release back to neutral. Let's do that 1 more time. Each way. Internal rotation. Thumbs down, palms back. Gently release to center. And external rotation. Thumbs up and back, palms face up. Gently release back to neutral. Okay, opposite way, each side. So on your right arm, internal rotation. Left arm, external rotation. Hold for a breath. Gently release to neutral. Let's switch. So internal on the left, external on the right. Try and turn the entire arm. Gently release back to neutral 1 more time each way. Internal right, external left. Right palm back, left palm up. Releasing back to neutral 1 more time each way. Left palm back, right palm up. And exhale, gently release back to neutral and release your arms down to the sides. All right, a little bit of wrist work. Bring the backs of your hands to touch, elbows up, and just start to roll your wrist through and forward. Try to avoid hitting your chin or your face on the way through. Just starting to loosen and warm up the wrists as well. Okay, begin to slow. Let's move in the opposite directions. You'll probably hear lots of sounds here. You had a dog stop by and say hello. You might be able to hear the road nearby, lots of birds. So hopefully you enjoy the environmental aspects of practice here. Begin to slow, release the arms out and down to the sides. So wrists are lined up with your hips now, and let's extend the legs out. Keep the knees bent. Bring the bottoms of your heels to the mat. Feet are flexed. Just allowing ourselves to start opening our hips here. So heels are about shoulder width distance apart, and we'll work internal and external on our hip socket. So internally rotate, knees draw in together. Keep the feet flexed. Externally rotate, knees draw out. Keep going. So on your inhale, knees draw in. Exhale, knees draw out. 2 more times each way, just warming up that hip socket. 1 more time here. Internal knees together. And external knees separates. All right, great job. So if you're sitting on something, you can place that off to the side. Let's bring our knees together and we'll come forward into our tabletop. So if you're comfortable, come forward over your knees. Otherwise, send your legs off to the sides and meet me in a nice tabletop here. In your tabletop, wrists are below your shoulders, knees below your hips, tops of the feet to the mat. Draw that navel in and up, chin slightly tucked, gaze up towards the top of the mat. Moving right into our cow cat. So on your inhale, drop the navel, tailbone lifts, heart forward, look up. Exhale, reverse, rounding the spine, shoulders separate, head hangs heavy, cat pose. Keep moving. Inhale on your cow pose. And exhale, rounding on your cat pose. Just keep moving on your breath, on your pace. Use this as an opportunity, as always, to connect your breath to your movement. Once you finish your last cat pose, rounding your back, meet me in a nice neutral spine. Working some twists here. So make sure you're nice and stable, firming those outer upper arms in so the elbow creases start to face forward. Extend the right fingertips and the right arm out to the side, palm faces down, shoulder height. On your inhale, let's lift those right fingertips to the sky, open the chest, and exhale, send that right arm under, drop the right shoulder down, right arm comes through, palm faces up. On your inhale, bring the right fingertips back up. Exhale, send that right arm through and under. 2 more times. So inhale, right fingertips to the sky, open the chest. Exhale, twist, send that right arm underneath. Last time here, right fingertips to the sky, open up. Exhale, under and through. Gently release back to your tabletop. Settle in, and we'll switch to the opposite side. So this time, left fingertips out to the side. On your inhale, left fingertips to the sky, arm nice and long. Exhale, send that left arm under and through. Left shoulder drops. 3 more times. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, under and through. On your inhale, really open up the chest. What's up, Oliver? Exhale, send that left arm under and through. One last time. Inhale, up. And exhale, under and through. Let's gently release back to your tabletop. And we'll send our hips back to our heels. Keep your chest up in your Virasana pose. So we're coming to a seat just for a couple moments here. If this is too uncomfortable, you can place a block in between your feet or just sit in a cross-legged seat. A little more wrist work here. So if you're in your Virasana, knees folded, hips on heels, bring the backs of your hands right beside your knees. If you're sitting in a cross-legged seat, just bring the backs of your hands, backs of your palms back towards your hips. Now, once you have the entire back of the hand on the mat, we'll just rock up and down a little bit here. So rocking forward and back, lifting up off those hips. If you're sitting cross-legged, you're just rocking forward and back. The idea here is to keep the entire back of the hand on the mat. You'll definitely start to feel this stretch in your wrists here. So again, fingers face back, entire back of the palm on the mat. All right, let's gently lift our torso back up, coming back through our tabletop. So if your legs are crossed, come back and forward, meet us all back in tabletop, knees back underneath the hips. Now we'll step the right foot back, curling the toes under, Step the left foot back, curl the toes under. We're in our plank pose. Now drop our knees down, keep the toes curled under. From here, we'll shift back and forward again. So on your inhale, shift back, hips to heels, keep your arms where they are, and send your heart forward, shoulders back over the wrists. So inhale as you shift back, exhale forward. 2 more times. Inhale, shifting back, exhale forward. Keep those toes curled under. Inhale, shifting back, and exhale, shifting forward. Okay, from here. Now, if that worked well for you, you can repeat that. Otherwise, we'll move on to full plank pose, shifting forward and back. So, if you'd like, we'll lift our knees up. So really press the heels back to start lifting the knees off the mat. We're in our full plank pose. So, if this is too much for you today, drop back down to your knees, repeat just what we did. Otherwise, we're moving not as much here, but we'll shift back just a couple inches, press our heels back, and shift forward on our exhale. So inhale, shifting back, couple inches here. Exhale, shift forward, shoulders back over wrist. 2 more times. Inhale, shifting back. Exhale, shift forward. 1 more time. Inhale, shift back. And exhale, shift forward. Let's all drop down to our knees. Bring the tops of our feet to the mat. Shift our hips back to our heels. Let's all meet in our child's pose here. Take a couple moments in our child's pose, releasing your forehead down to the mat. If it doesn't quite reach, you can use a block or a towel underneath your forehead. Just keep the arms extended nice and long. Take a couple deep breaths here. One more breath. All right, keeping your arms nice and long, palms to the mat. We'll lift our head up, lift our forehead up, come back into your tabletop. So draw those knees back underneath your hips, wrists underneath your shoulders. Moving into our forearm tabletop. So right where your wrists are, that's where your elbows will drop. So dropping the elbows down, palms face down as well. Forearms are nice and parallel. So make sure your elbows are underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Drawing that navel in and up. Still a nice long spine here. Moving into our cow cats here. So on your inhale, drop the navel, tailbone lifts, heart forward, look up. Exhale, rounding the back, cat pose, let your head hang heavy. 3 more times each way. Again, moving on your breath here. Notice how this might feel a little different from your traditional tabletop cow cat. Might be a little more challenging, might be a little easier. As I said, this is a modification for a lot of the wrist balances or the arm balances where you can ease the strain on your wrists and allow yourself just another modification to use your forearms. Okay, so with that said, so come back here into your forearm tabletop. Meet us back here in stillness. Now, from here, make sure your knees start below your hips, and we'll start with the left foot. So keep the left knee where it is, but send the top of the left foot off to the edge of the mat. Curl the right toes under, lifting the right knee off the mat, and then drop the right heel down so the right toes face the long edge side of your mat. Now, take your left palm and move it over to the right where your right elbow is. So it moves across. So it comes 90 degrees across, placing the palm down. We'll start to lift our chest, stack our hips on our heels. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Version of our Vashistasana that we're working towards today. So you have your shoulders stacked, you have your hips stacked, and you have your right toes facing the long edge side of the mat. Option to raise the right arm up in the air, turning the right palm forward. Final option, turn the neck to look up towards those right fingertips. Really press down through the forearm. Lift those hips up. Hold for 1 more breath. And exhale, gently and slowly release back into your forearm tabletop. So, in our forearm tabletop, we'll switch to the other side this time. So, this time with our right foot, we'll move the right foot out to the edge of the mat. Curl the left toes under, press that left heel back, and then drop the left heel down. Right palm comes where left elbow is. As you open and stack the shoulders and the hips, start with your left hand coming to your left hip. Now, from here, you can have the option to raise the left arm to the sky, turning the palm to face forward. And final option, turn your neck to look up towards those left fingertips. Really press your forearm down, lift out of your hips, Hold for one more breath. And exhale, gently release. Come back slowly into your forearm tabletop. And we'll press back up into our full tabletop. Step the right foot back, curl the toes under. Step the left foot back, curl the toes under, plank pose. And we'll lift our hips up and back into our downward facing dog. Okay, so from your down dog, let's pedal out our legs. It's our first down dog of the day, so press one heel back, press the other. Maybe lift one leg and lift the other. Just pedal and move out. Do what you need to do here. You can always drop down to your knees and tabletop. Again, to give your wrists a little bit more of a break here. And you can always pedal out your feet this way as well. All right, 2 more breaths here, moving and grooving as you need. All right, let's all meet in our down dog. Inhale as we gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Take your time coming forward. Feet hips width distance. Stay in your forward fold. Let your head be long and heavy. Grab opposite elbows. Hang down in ragdoll pose. Biceps next to ears. Your knees can be bent. If you'd like, you can rest your chest on your thighs. Just try to draw the crown of the head down towards the ground as your hips draw up towards the sky. If you like, you can gently sway from side to side in your ragdoll pose, allowing that low back to release, allowing the shoulders to release. Let's switch whichever forearm is on top, so grab opposite elbow, switching the clasp here. All right, coming back to stillness, release the clasp of your elbows, coming up to standing nice and slow. Press down through your feet, spin the inner thighs in and back, and start to roll up, stacking one vertebrae at a time, taking your time to come all the way up to standing. No rush here. All right, and once you're up, let's lift the arms up overhead, palms face each other. Exhale as you draw the hands down through the center and down to the sides. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Really press down through your feet. Make sure the feet are nice and parallel, heels behind those center toes. Tailbone draws down, frontal hip points draw up. With the arms down by the sides, palms face forward. That's a slight external rotation opening of the shoulder socket here. Broaden through those collarbones, draw the shoulders down your back. Chin is parallel to the mat. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. All right, press down through your feet. Let's inhale as we raise the arms up overhead, arms nice and long. Stay here for a breath. Palms face each other. Soften those shoulders down. On your exhale, keep your spine nice and long as you hinge forward, lower back into your forward fold. So lowering down, fingertips or palms to the mat or to your legs. Let the crown of your head draw down. Now place your hands to the tops of your shins. Inhale, lift halfway. Nice long spine. Looking for the torso to be parallel to the mat. Draw those shoulders away from the ears. On your exhale, release back down into your forward fold. Again, fingertips or palms to the mat or to your legs as the crown of the head draws down. Hips draw up. Coming back up to stand, press down through your feet. Nice long spine as you lift your torso back up. Arms overhead, palms face each other. Again, hold for a breath. Soften those shoulders down, draw the tailbone down, and exhale, hands down through center, down to the sides. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. All right, one breath, one movement. On your inhale, bring the arms up overhead, palms face each other. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, lift the arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hands down through center, down to the sides. Adding on, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway, nice long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Stay low, plant your palms. Step your right foot back, step your left foot back. Drop your knees to the mat. Shift forward, lower all the way to the mat. Nice and slow. Bring the tops of your feet to the mat. Press your feet down, hips down. On your inhale, lift your head up, chest up. Baby Cobra. Holding for a breath here. Draw the ankles in, elbows in, tailbone draws down, heart forward. Exhale, gently release. Keep the knees down, curl the toes under. Lift yourself up to your knees down, plank pose, and then lift all the way up into downward facing dog. Stay in your down dog for 3 breaths. That little bit of vinyasa movement is your choice today. You can follow along with my prompts. If you have other variation of your vinyasa, feel free to take that. You can always just skip it and meet us in down dog as well. On your inhale, in your down dog, gaze forward. Bend your knees. Exhale, walker step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Back up to standing. Press down through your feet. Inhale, arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hands down through center, down to the sides. One more time. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms, step your right foot back, step your left foot back. Vinyasa your way. Knees down as you shift forward, bend your elbows, lower all the way or halfway down. Tops of the feet to the mat. Inhale, lift up into your back bend. For baby cobra, send your heart forward, elbows, ankles draw in. Hold for another half breath. Exhale, gently release. Keep the knees down, curl the toes under, lifting the hips up and back all the way into your down dog. Staying for 3 breaths in your down dog. Again, always have an option to skip your vinyasa, coming right into down dog, or if you need a little bit of a breather, if you need to reground or regroup yourself, just press back into your child's pose. One more breath here, pressing your chest back towards your thighs in your down dog. And now inhale as you gaze forward, bend the knees, exhale, walker step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance, inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, forward fold, press down through your feet. Inhale, arms out and up overhead, palms face each other. Exhale, hands down through center, down to the thighs. Pause for 2 breaths here. Just noticing the heat that you've built in your body so far. Okay, turning now to face the long edge side of your mat. Meet me in a wide-legged stance, starting in your mountain pose with your feet hips width distance, and then just separate them out wide. So your feet stay parallel here. Heels behind those center toes. Place your arms to the hips to start. Use your thumbs to draw your tailbone down, fingers to lift the frontal hip points up. Now, send the arms behind you and clasp the fingers behind your back. If that's not accessible for you, you can always grab opposite elbows behind your back, or another option is just to place your hands on your low back with the fingers facing down. So choose whatever bind works for you today. I'll work us through clasping through the fingers. We bring the wrist together and we straighten the arms, draw the shoulders back and down, adding a forward fold here. So really press down through the feet. Inhale as you send your heart to the sky, slight back bend. Keep a nice long spine. On your exhale, send the heart forward, hinge forward as you lower your chest. Once you come down about halfway, take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, maybe you lower a little bit more. Releasing the crown of your head down to the ground, chin slightly tucked. You might be up a little bit higher. You can have a slight bend in your knees if you need to. We're holding here for 2 more breaths. Maybe try to lift the arms off your back a little bit more for 1 more breath. And exhale, stay low, but release your arms down underneath your shoulders, lifting up halfway. Adding a twist here. So take your left arm, send it right underneath your face. So right in the center, underneath your face. Right hand comes to your right hip, adding a twist. So inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, twist and open to the right. Really open the chest. Maybe the gaze comes to look up towards the sky. If you'd like, add your right arm. Extend the right arm up to the sky. Right palm faces forward. Keep shifting the weight into the toes, but keep the heels on the mat. Kneecaps draw up towards the hip to engage the muscles in your legs, helping to keep you stable here. Hold for 1 more breath. And exhale, gently release back to both hands underneath your shoulders. Regroup, recenter. And now place your right hand underneath your face. Left hand to your left hip. Take a nice deep inhale to prepare. Nice long spine. And exhale, open up to the left this time. So right shoulder draws down, left shoulder draws up. Try to roll those right ribs under, open the left ribs up to the sky. Option to raise the left arm up to the sky, turning the palm to face forward, and shifting weight back into the toes, firming the outer thighs in, drawing the kneecaps up towards the hips. Maybe you turn your neck to look at those fingertips for one more breath. And exhale, gently release. Both hands underneath your shoulders. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. All right, place your hands to your hips, lifting up halfway, slight bend in the knees. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale, raise all the way up, back to where we started, wide-legged stance. All right, let's heel toe the feet back into hips with distance. And come back up to the top of the mat. So top of the mat, feet hips with distance. Release your arms back down to your sides. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. Chair pose. So bend the knees, send the hips back, arms come forward. Always have an option for your chair pose to bring your hands to center. But either way, you're drawing those outer upper arms in, shifting weight into the heels. Make sure you can gaze and see your toes. Knees and feet should be the same distance apart. So if you like to keep your feet together, make sure your knees are together. Really firm those outer thighs in, spine nice and long. Take one more nice deep inhale. And exhale, let's release, forward fold. Stay in your forward fold for 2 breaths here. Really let the crown of your head draw down, hips draw up to the sky. One more inhale, and exhale. Now stay low, plant your palms, keep your left foot forward, step your right foot back. Left foot on the right side on the mat, right foot on the right side. Both toes face forward, this right knee stays up. Press down through your feet, and on your inhale, lift your torso up, arms up overhead. Dropping into warrior 2. So with our torso up, we'll drop the right heel down so the toes start to face the long edge side of the mat. Heel toe those left toes in towards the center so you have heel to arch alignment. Now drop your arms out wide into a T, palms face down. Shoulders square to the long edge side of your mat. And turn your neck to look over those left fingertips. Make sure this left knee tracks behind the center toes. And really firm this outer left thigh in and under, pressing back to the outside edge of that right foot. Really lift up out of your hips, nice long torso, but soften those shoulders away from the ears. Feel nice, grounded, and powerful here in our warrior pose. Hold for one more breath. Extended side angle. So shift the left arm forward, release the left arm to the inside of the left thigh, right arm up to the sky. Right palm faces forward. Option to stay here. If you like to have your block and place your hand down to your block to either side of your foot, you can use that as well. Fingertips or palm can also come down to the ground. Again, whatever option you choose, make sure your shoulders are stacked, your chest is opening, left ribs are rolling under, right ribs are rolling up to the sky. Hold for one more breath. Wherever you are, press down through your feet and lift back up into your warrior 2. Releasing the right arm down, left palm up, reverse your warrior, lift the left fingertips up to the sky, side bend over the right side, and let's lift and spiral both arms forward and down. Either side of that left foot. Come up on the back right heel. Send the left foot to meet the right foot, we'll vinyasa through. So knees down or up as you shift forward. Bend the elbows, lower all the way or halfway down. Tops of the feet to the mat. Inhale, lift up into your back bend, baby cobra or upward facing dog. And then lower as you curl your toes under, lifting all the way up and back, downward facing dog. On your inhale, let's gaze forward. Bend the knees, exhale, walker step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance, inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Stay low, we'll switch to the other side. So keeping the right foot forward this time. Step the left foot back. Again, make sure both toes are facing forward, pressing down through the feet. And on your inhale, lift the torso up, arms up overhead. Keeping the arms overhead, we'll drop the left heel down so the left toes face the long edge side of your mat. Heel toe that right foot in towards the center. So you have heel to arch alignment. Release your arms down to the side as you square your shoulders to the long edge side of your mat. So we're lowering into Warrior Two here. Settling in for a couple deep breaths. Make sure that right knee tracks behind those right center toes. Really lifting out of your hips here. Firming this right thigh in and under. Pressing back to the outside edge of that left foot. Balancing the weight into both legs here. Really softening the shoulders away from the ears. Gaze is over those right fingertips. Let's hold for one more breath here. And exhale. All right, side angle, Tita Konasana. So keep the low body just as it is. Send the right arm forward. Torso comes with it. When you can't go any further, right arm to the inside of that right thigh, left arm to the sky. Really firm that outer right thigh in and under again. With the left fingertips to the sky, turn the palms foot faces forward, the shorted side of your mat. Now options. Whatever option works for you. If you want to drop your right hand to the inside or outside of that right foot, using a blocker coming down onto the mat. Holding here for 2 deep breaths. Really press down through that right heel. Keep pressing back to the outer edge of that left foot for one last breath. All right, wherever you are, press down through the feet and lift back up into your Warrior Two. Reversing our warrior, left palm down, right palm up to the sky, side bend over that left leg, lifting the right fingertips to the sky, and then spiral, send both arms down to either side of that right foot, come up on that back left heel, send the right foot to meet the back foot, Vinyasa your way through. Again, you can always skip and come right into down dog. All right, meeting back in our down dog. Let's shift forward, lower our knees to the ground, and then keep shifting your torso forward, lower everything to the mat. Bring the tops of your feet to the mat. Moving into Sphinx pose. So lift your chest up, come back onto your forearms with your elbows underneath your shoulders again. So we were here before, but we were in Forearm Tabletop. So now we're letting our hips fall to the mat this time. Make sure your feet are still hips width distance. And take a nice deep inhale and exhale. So in our Sphinx pose, we're still actively drawing our tailbone down towards our heels. Hips stay on the mat, but the heart draws forward. Take one more nice deep inhale and exhale. All right, so let's make a pillow for our forehead. So cross the elbows, grab opposite elbows, and then lower your forehead to your forearms. Bend the knees, flex the feet, and let's windshield wiper the feet. So just let them fall off from side to side, back and forth. All right, coming back to center, releasing the tops of the feet back down on the mat. This time, place your wrists beside your ribs. Fingers face forward, wrist back. Elbows draw in. Now curl both toes under, pressing the heels back so the knees start to lift off the mat. So listen very carefully. So toes curled under, press the heels back, knees and thighs start to lift off. Keep drawing the elbows in. We're trying to push right up into plank pose. So on your inhale, take a nice deep breath. Exhale, press straight up into plank pose, shoulders over wrists, and then lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. All right, how'd that go? I know that's a little challenge sometimes. That can be your homework. Let's inhale as we gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walker step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Back up to standing. Press down through your feet. Inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center, down to the sides. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. All right, so you're at the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance. Adding a little bit of a balanced pose. So bring your hands to your hips to start tree pose. Starting by shifting the weight into our right leg. Bend the left knee, open that left knee out to the side. Now option to stay right here, or our next options are bring the bottom of that left foot into the right shin. Keep the toes on the mat. Maybe lift the toes off the mat slightly, or you can bring the bottom of that left foot into the right thigh. Choose your option of your tree pose. Just know that you should firm this right thigh in, press down through that right heel. Shoulders are still squared forward. And let's add our arms. So once you have your balance, bring your hands to the center of your chest. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Now lifting our arms to the sky, arms overhead, palms face each other. Soften those shoulders down away from the ears. Keep drawing that tailbone down, lifting those frontal hip points up. Really lift out of your hips, create length here. Be a nice, long, tall tree. Wherever you are, if you fall out, you can always come right back in. Hold for one more breath. And exhale, gently release, hands down through center. Release the left leg down to meet the right. You can shake it out a little bit before we move to the other side. So starting with hands at your hips, feet nice and parallel, shifting weight into that left foot. Bending the right knee, open that right leg out to the side. Again, you can stay right here if this is enough for you. Next option, bring the right toes in, bottom of the right foot to that right shin. If you like, lift the toes off the mat, or further, bring the bottom of the right foot into that left thigh. Keep the shoulders squared forward. Really firm this outer left thigh in this time, pressing down through the left heel. Draw the tailbone down, lift those frontal hip points up. Let's add our arms. Bring the hands into the center of your chest. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Growing our branches, let's lift our arms up overhead, palms face each other, shoulders face down. Shoulders draw down, I should say. Really roll those outer upper arms in. Keep lifting those frontal hip points up. Hold for one more breath. And exhale, release the hands down through your center. The right leg releases. You can shake that out a little bit. All right, so let's come back down onto the mat. Let's meet in our child's pose. So you can lower down, bring the knees to the mat, bring the tops of the feet to the mat, sending your hips back to your heels, forehead down to the mat, arms extend nice and long. Just take a couple deep breaths into your child's pose. We're moving into a couple pretty strong minded arm balancing poses. So we'll have two different options. Our first option will be on our forearms. Then our next option will be completely on our wrists. So again, if you have any wrist injuries, I urge you to just be very gentle, maybe stay on your forearms today. And if you feel comfortable, you can advance into the full wrist arm balance variation. Just take one more nice deep inhale and exhale. All right, so we'll lift our hips up, come into our tabletop to start. From our tabletop, we'll curl the right toes under, curl the left toes under, plank pose. So again, if you're already feeling this in your wrists or you have any injuries, drop down to your forearms. We've already practiced our side angle from our forearms, so drop down if you need to. Otherwise, well, I should say everyone, regardless if you're in forearm plank or full plank, will drop down to our knees. Okay, so with our knees dropped down, we'll start with the left side. Bring the tops of the feet to the mat, and then roll your left foot out to the left side. To keep the left knee where it is, bring the left foot out to the left side. Curl the right toes under, press back through the right heel, and then drop the right heel down. We'll bring the right hand to the right hip, lift and open the shoulders back into our side plank pose. Raising the right arm up to the sky, right palm faces forward. So again, if this is too much on your wrist, you're staying on your forearm, bringing that left palm across so it's parallel to the short edge of your mat. Either way, shoulders are stacked. You're trying to keep your knee down, but lift your hips off the mat. With the palm facing forward, arm nice and long, maybe the gaze comes up towards the toes. Holding for one more breath. Now, you're either staying here if you'd like to advance. You can lift that right leg up off the mat, flexing the right toes, pressing out through that right heel. Just an option here to hold for one more breath. And exhale, gently release. Come back into your tabletop, nice and slow. And we'll switch to the other side. So, now, From this side, again, you're either on your wrists or on your forearms. We'll come into plank pose to start. So curl the right toes under, curl the left toes under. Dropping the knees down, tops of the feet down. Keep the right knee where it is. Right foot comes off to the side. It's there for balance. Curl the left toes under, drop the left heel down, and then start to open, stack the shoulders, stack the hips. Lift the left arm up to the sky, left palm faces forward. Now, whether your forearm or palm is pressing down into the mat, try and lift the shoulder out of the arm here. Lift the hips up off the mat. Keep the collarbones nice and broad. You can stay here, or if you want to add your option, you can start to lift the left leg up off the mat, flex the toes for a little more balance challenge here. Keep pressing out through that left heel. Hold for one more breath. And exhale, gently release that left foot, release the left arm. Come back into your tabletop, and let's press back into our child's pose here. Pressing back into your child's pose. If you are balancing on your wrists in your child's pose, you can gently start to roll out your wrists slightly, create fists with both hands, and just gently start to make circles with your wrists. Take a couple more deep breaths in your child's pose. And knowing that now, for our final option that we'll move into, we'll have the option to try our side plank on our feet. So we've been dropping down to our knees. That helps to make it a little more accessible. But if you'd like to advance, we'll keep our knees up and we'll work into our side plank that way. So if you feel like you've had enough of a challenge, you can repeat any option that we've done before. Or if you'd like to advance, you'll come with me into our full variation of our side plank pose. Either way, if you're keeping your knees up, you can perform this either on your wrists, or your palm, I should say, or if you want to drop to your forearm, you can still perform the full variation that way. So if you'd like to advance, but you still have some wrist concerns, perform this on your forearms. So let's take one more deep breath in our child's pose. All right, let's start to lift ourselves up. Everyone start in your tabletop. Again, if you're planning on moving into your forearms, move right down into your forearm tabletop here. Whatever option you choose, we'll curl both toes under, come into our plank pose, either forearm or full plank pose. If you're dropping down to your knees, choose that variation. Otherwise, I'll walk through the full variation, either on forearm or tabletop. If you're on your forearm, your left forearm will come to where your right wrist is. As you drop your left, the outer edge of that left foot down, stack the right foot on top of the left, bring your right hand to your right hip, stack the shoulders, stack the hips. Really press down through your hand or your forearm, lifting out of the shoulder. Really try and lift the hips up away from the mat. Options to raise the right arm to the sky, again turning the right palm to face forward. Try to stack the shoulders, open the chest out to the sky. Flexing both feet wherever you are. Let's hold for one more breath. Release the right hand to the right hip. Gently lower back into your plank. Drop the knees down, tops of the feet down. Let's press back into our child's pose for a moment. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. All right, so choose what variation you're taking as you lift your hips up off your heel back into your tabletop. Either lower back down into your forearms or stay in your full tabletop. Now from here, we'll curl the right toes under, curl the left toes under, plank pose. Again, if you're on your forearms, that right palm will come where the left wrist is. Now press your heels back, lower the outer edge of the right foot down, stack the left foot on top of the right foot, left hand to left hip, stack the shoulders, stack the hips. Really press down through the hand or the forearm, lift the shoulder out of the socket. Try to draw the hips away from the ground. An option to lift the left arm up to the sky, left palm faces forward. Keep flexing those back feet. You're on the outer edge of that right foot. Turning the neck to look up to those fingertips if you'd like. Hold for one more breath here. And release the hand to the hips. Gently lower back into your plank pose. Let the knees drop softly. Shift your hips back to your heels. Full child's pose. Again, just to work out your wrists a little bit, stay in your child's pose, make fists with your wrists, and gently start to roll them out. Start in one direction here, and then slow it down, move in the opposite direction. All right, you can gently re-extend your arms, palms down. Let's lift our head up, lift our hips up, back towards our tabletop. Send our legs off to the sides. And let's have our legs out in front of us. With your legs extended out in front of you, feet are flexed. If you already feel like you're falling back, same option before with our seated postures. If you'd like, you can place something underneath your sit bones just to keep your spine nice and long. All right, adding a little twist. So let's draw the right knee into our chest and place the bottom of the right foot onto the mat. And here's where you have your option. You can place the right foot to the inside or the outside of that left knee. If it comes to the outside and you can't quite keep the whole foot on the mat, place it back to the inside. Now release the right fingertips behind you to the mat. Inhale as you send the left fingertips up to the sky. And exhale, twist to the right, closed twist here. Maybe the left elbow comes to the outside of that right knee. Keep that left foot flexed and keep pressing down through that right big toe. Open the right shoulder out and back, and maybe you start to turn your neck to look over that right shoulder. Let's hold here for 2 slow, deep breaths. One more breath. And gently, gently start to release back to center. Extending both legs nice and long. Arms start down by your sides. So we'll switch, same options as before, other side here. So bending the left knee into your chest, bottom of the left foot onto the mat. It's important to have that foundation. So either to the inside or the outside of that right knee. Keep flexing those right toes. And now release the left fingertips behind you to the mat. Right arm up to the sky, nice long spine on your inhale. And exhale, twist to your left, right elbow to left knee. Those left fingertips are there behind you to keep you stable, but you don't want to rely on them for too much weight bearing. So see if you can get a little softer off your left fingers. Keep flexing the right foot, pressing down through the left big toe. Lengthen on your inhale. And exhale, twist. Keep drawing that left shoulder back. Maybe you turn your neck to look over the left shoulder. Let's hold for one more breath here. And exhale. Gently release back to center. Extend both legs nice and long. Just shake them out a little bit. All right, so with your legs still extended out in front of you, slightly bend your knees. You can still stay elevated on your seat if you'd like. Adding a forward fold, but start with your knees bent here. Feet are flexed. Inhale as you raise both arms overhead, palms face each other, soften the shoulders down. Keep the spine nice and long on your exhale, hinge forward. Send your heart towards your toes. You can release your palms down to the mat. If you're one that likes to use a strap here, you can place it around the bottoms of your feet and use the strap. Otherwise, releasing your arms down. Keep sending your heart forward. You can slightly tuck your chin. If you started with your knees bent and you'd like, you can start to re-extend your legs. Walking your heels away slightly, inch by inch away from your hips. Keep flexing the toes so they're drawing back toward your face. And let's hold for 3 slow, deep breaths. There is I should say, a big dog that lives around us that is just so curious to come inside and see the 2 cats we have here. Oliver and Coney are always taunting this dog because there's a gate that the cats can get through, but the dog can't. So, of course, they taunt the dog. They make fun that it can't fit through the gate like they can. Let's hold in our forward fold for one more breath. All right, gently start to walk your hands back, slowly lifting your heart back up. Hands next to your hips. Keep the knees bent and send your hips up closer to your heels. We'll come onto our backs nice and slowly. So hold onto your shins or your thighs and gently lower down onto your back. Setting up for one bridge pose here. So with your knees bent, bring your heels underneath your knees, arms down to the side. A couple options in our bridge pose once we lift up. If you like, you can place a block underneath, so keep your block nearby if you like that option. Starting with your heels underneath your knees, arms down to the sides, feet and knees hips width distance. Take a nice deep inhale to prepare. Press your feet down into the mat, and on your exhale, lift your hips up, pelvis up, chest up, bridge pose. You can stay right here. You can place a block underneath your sacrum for a more restorative version. If you'd like, you can roll your triceps under and intersect your fingers, bringing the wrist to touch and trying to draw the nice extended arms down, pinkies towards the mat. Whatever bridge option you're choosing, keep pressing your feet down. Spin the inner thighs in and down to keep the knees hips width distance. Try to draw your tailbone towards the backs of the knees, and the gaze is always straight up towards the sky. Keep pressing the triceps down, lift your chest up for one more breath. Exhale, gently release your arms out, release the block out, and lower from the top of your spine first, middle of the back, low back is the last to arrive. Now let your knees fall into touch, feet out to the width of the mat, arms out to a T, palms face up, and let your knees gently rock from side to side. Keep letting them rock from side to side. And then the next time your knees are off to the right, let them stay there. Settling into our spinal twist. If you'd like, place the right ankle on top of the left knee. That allows a little more deep of a stretch in that left outer thigh. And with your arms extended out to a T, palms face up, turn your neck to look over those left fingertips. Settle in, let gravity do the work here. Staying for 2 slow, deep breaths. All right, gaze comes back up to center. Release the ankle from on top of the knee. Feet still stay wide, but bring your knees back up to center. So gaze and knees are back to center. And then let the knees drop off to the left side this time. Same option as before. If you'd like, place the outside of that left ankle on the right knee. Gives that right outer thigh a little more of a stretch here. And if you'd like, turn your neck to look over those right fingertips for this full variation. Breathe into any areas where you feel like you may have tension. Just allow yourself to be here. One more breath here. Turn your gaze back up to center. Release the ankle from on top of the knee. Both knees draw up to center. Knees and feet to hips width distance. Let's draw the knees into our chest. Wrap your hands around your shins. Give a nice squeeze. Draw those knees in. Let's lift the shoulders and the back of the head off the mat. Come into an egg shape. Try and squeeze everything together. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And exhale, gently release and extend. Extend the legs nice and long, arms overhead. Point the toes away from the body. Extend the fingertips nice and long. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And exhale, release. Arms down to the sides. Palms face up. Legs long, let the knees and the feet fall out to the side. Begin to settle into your final pose of practice, Shavasana. If you prefer any other variation that calls out to you today, feel free to take that. Any option you choose, You can always soften your gaze or close your eyes completely as you settle in. Take inventory of any parts of your body that may still feel tense or that are slow to settle. Send your breath there. Ease any tension. Just let your body be nice and heavy, melting into the mat. Relaxing any muscles in your face and in your jaw. And finally, just allowing yourself to release any control over your breath. Just be here. Now let's begin to bring some awareness back into the body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. And rotate your wrists and your ankles. And switch directions in those rotations. And come back to stillness for one last breath here on your back. And now gently start to bend your knees into your chest as you roll over to one side of your body. Let your top arm rest on your bottom, top knee rest on your bottom knee. Stay for a breath here on your side. And now trying to keep your eyes softened or gaze closed, use your top arm to press yourself up to a comfortable cross-legged seat to complete your practice today. Resting your palms on tops of your knees, palms face up, or bring your hands to the center of your chest. Let's all take a nice deep inhale in together. Through the mouth, exhale. Thank you all for joining me for your practice today. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in each one of you. Thank you. Peace. All right. So grateful for you all to be joining me for class today. I appreciate you being here and hope you enjoyed all the sights and the sounds of class and the environment down here in the DR where I'm at. I really appreciate all the feedback. This month, I partnered with a local charity down here that is raising funds to help people with physical and mental challenges. And so, if you'd like to donate for attending class or for any reason, that link is in the video description. If you have any trouble with that, you can just let me know. But I appreciate all of you just being here. And if you'd like to donate to the charity, that link is there. If you have any other questions about yoga or classes or whatnot, looks like someone else. Oh, Marlena and Ellen. All right. The dynamic duo are both back. Great to see you both. Always fun to see your names pop up. So thank you so much for practicing. Yeah. Again, if you have any questions, any requests on classes or anything like that, always feel free to let me know. I really do appreciate you writing something in the chat just so that I can feel your presence better that way. So thank you so much. And as always, just enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the rest of your week. I hope this practice helps you to get through the rest of your week, and Happy New Year to you as well. And I will see you all next time in practice. So, again, thank you so much. Take care and see you next time. My name is Daniel. Peace.